Hey, it's Gavin with Haverstick Designs. We're here at Electric Field Studios in Hollywood, and we're going to go tour the studio.
Hello? Oh, hey, Gavin, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Welcome.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Yeah, come on in.
Hey, Gavin.
How are you?
Good, how are you? Welcome.
Thank you so much. Hi, it's Gavin with Haverstick Designs, and we're in Studio A at Electric Field with Nick and Danielle. Thanks so much for having us in and being able to tour the space, because we've known each other for a while and worked on some projects together, but this one in particular, I think you're just kind of wanting to do a refresh of the room. Is that the main thing?
Yes, we were wanting to do a refresh of the room because it needed it. I think it was maybe been around 8 years.
Before our time, of course.
Since it had had a refresh, and the room gets a lot of use, gets a lot of wear and tear, just with like the nature of like some of the sessions that we do.
It was time to kind of elevate and lift it up.
And then just aesthetically as well.
Yeah, no, I love how it turned out. Some of the main things that we were working on was the soffit wall here, because the soffit wall before, I know that it was built long before you guys were here, but it wasn't quite the way it's done, you know, and so it was not as stable as maybe a soffit wall needs to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was kind of the other part of this renovation for us. We got to a point where we were starting to have a lot of complaints from the tenants above us about the floor vibrating and noise transmission. And, you know, we weren't going to tear the whole thing down and rebuild it, but there were certain things that I think needed to be done and needed to be corrected. The biggest fix to the problem was renting the space for our offices.
That was, I remember we went back and forth for a while on ways that we could maybe improve the isolation, and all of them are expensive and all of them are invasive. But I remember you sending me videos of it where things were rattling on people's desks.
They would take videos of water bottles on their desk, and I would get these at like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, and they'd be like, Danielle, it's like Jurassic Park here.
I was thinking Jurassic Park myself. Because I remember you downloaded a software that we use for sound isolation.
Measure, is it?
Yeah, you took some measurements there and
had a sound level meter too.
Yep.
Your cool meter.
Yeah, the XL2. You got one of those. And but yeah, it's such a better idea just to rent the space. We didn't do any major acoustical element changes in the stretch fabric portions of things, because one of the things is that this space has been used for so many years and people love it.
They do.
Know? And I mean, there's been artists that have recorded here, like I know Post Malone did a lot of his stuff out of this space, and it's really hard to change that because people are so used to it.
Yeah,
a little spooky.
We didn't want it to change because this is a reference point for people. Like, you know, this room has a certain sound to it. But yeah, we wanted to make sure that when people came back, it was still the same room that they knew and loved.
Yeah, I know some of the minor changes that we made acoustically is one is the angling of the speakers. Before they were towed out a little bit more, firing more towards the back of the room.
Tweeters on the outside too. Right?
Yeah, tweeters on the outside. We always remember that. But yeah, it's something where tailoring a little bit more towards the mix position, since that obviously it's part of the environment to have lots of people in the room, and you want them to be able to hear in the back of the room well too. But ultimately, it's the decisions made here that are going to translate to other systems, and so we towed things in and then added the ceiling cloud, which I think was those two elements were, I think, the only thing that the room was lacking at all.
We did rebuild the front wall and install new speakers, and so you helped us with the design of that to really decouple them as best as possible, because they weren't whatsoever previously.
Yeah, they were even screwed into the cabinet, right?
Correct.
Like the speaker cabinet was wood, and it was screwed directly into the wood, which sat on whatever support. I don't know how much support it actually offered, but screwed straight in.
Yeah.
So the front wall, we were talking about this earlier, it was like a transducer. So it was like a pseudo sub. You know, it was
you don't have control over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's interesting.
No, we ended up giving you guys some diagrams on how that should be built, and with the Acoustics isolators underneath the Genelec speakers, and it's a massive wall. Like anytime you do that, you want it to be really heavy because you don't want it to be able to flex. And like I know when we worked on Louis Bell's project, it's like 5 layers of material on that front wall.
Absolutely.
We did something kind of similar here.
Yeah.
And it's not fun to build a wall like that, but it's what's needed to get the good results.
Yeah.
You know what else I think has been interesting about both of those projects is working with contractors that haven't done this type of work before.
Yeah, for sure.
And I've found that really interesting because I think you do such a great job of explaining down to every minute detail to a contractor that's never done it before. But so long as they follow everything exactly as it's outlined and exactly as you design it, like...
They're studio builders now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right? No, it's great.
It's probably, I would say, maybe 70% of our jobs are built by people who've never done this before.
Yeah.
And so we kind of get used to hand-holding through that process, and it's not a problem for me. I actually enjoy it because it's teaching, it's learning. People get to learn a skill.
Yeah.
But it is something where we try to make our drawing sets as detailed as possible, so there's no audibles that are called, or and also just be available. You know, it's like knowing that no question's too small, and you can call Gavin or call someone on our staff.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, you did.
I did a lot. Yeah,
and I enjoy that.
I've enjoyed it
Sometimes
too.
not about the project.
Yeah,
but, it's okay.
Yeah, so the integration has been the last thing we've been tying together, especially with the new desk in the front. We had a little sidecar wood rack to kind of hold us over until the fabrication was done, which was cool, but obviously this is much more of a statement piece that I think you had a lot to do with, Danielle. Yeah, so we had the SSL, which I'm a diehard SSL fan.
Yeah.
You know, I really like the 900, the series, the 24s and the 48s. The format, what you can cram into that format is crazy. I mean, my biggest thing is routing and workflow. So being able to send and receive signal, I mean, off track buses, I mean, and the list continues, but it's just super valuable for me and for the studio. So anyway, obviously the centerpiece, SSL, AWS 924. I think the last one that they're doing is this one right here, the 924.
This was the last one.
No
that
way.
they
Last
made.
924.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, you know, upgraded the I/O. We've got a Symphony in here, special edition, which is great. And it's still got the film on it, which
Yes,
I
do
waited
it.
for you guys to come in here so we could pull the film off.
Oh, really? All right, let's.
So here we go. We're gonna just do a little.
That's a special moment.
I'll let
right
you take
there.
this home with you.
Thank you.
If you want a little.
I will treasure
a
this.
token from.
That was satisfying.
from what you
I'm
feel.
so glad that we've captured that.
Me too. Yeah, and then, you know, usual suspects in the rack over here. I'm a big Focusrite fan too, so I've got some of my personal mic pre's in here.
Oh, wow,
and then some other ones, and you know, 1176s, 2 of those, 1073s, Tube Tech.
Yeah.
My guitar tuner from home, I just think it looks cool, and you know, it's always like, can I get a tuner? It's like, it's just right here. You plug it in, boom. Roland synth, and then speaking of routing and flexibility, tie lines. I'm really big about some of the old school flexibility in, you know, a small space. Like, you know, even though it's not the biggest room in the world, I want to have this be as flexible as possible. So we've got tie lines specifically for interfaces here on TRS, 2 auxes, Aviom headphone output, another Aviom here, blank in case I want to add more, and then tie line for, you know, gear or whatever synths anyone wants to patch in or whatever.
That's awesome.
But it's also just copper, so you can plug anything wherever you want. That's just kind of the initial thought.
Yeah.
And then another thing for synths too that we do a lot with Lou Bell is we've got the ASP 880 down here. Take advantage of the ADAT input to his Apollo and just convert with that. Use the track buses and bring a number of synths up here. Track buses out to that. Works beautifully. Before we started the renovation, there was just a lot of wiring stuff I wasn't very happy with. It was outdated. It was, you know, just not to what we needed. I mean, like I said, there was cables all over the place, so this is pretty much taking care of that.
And you got the new Genelec speakers here.
Yep.
And that was a big undertaking, obviously, to rework that whole front wall.
Sure was.
Obviously, some of the things we didn't hear was just more fabric covering of what's existing or just some slight changes, but this was probably the major thing in this room that had to change.
Yeah, we had the old 1035s in here before, and these are 1235s, right?
That's right.
All right, cool. The numbers, I always want to make sure. I've got ADD, so sometimes I forget. But yeah, so it's kind of like an homage to what it was, but you know, taking it to the next level, getting it to be, you know, state of the art, and it has the GLM, which is great. I love that. I've used various types of systems before to calibrate rooms, but I think it's really unique about the Genelec brand is that, you know, they come with the SAM, you know what I mean? So it's amazing. It's been a just super valuable tool to have. When we were finished, I'm so happy with the result and how the decoupling worked. It worked so well that kind of lost that low end transfer, and some of our clients were like, hey, is there anything we can do about that? And just kind of was like, yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah. Big sub in the back.
Yes. So, yeah. That's not a small sub.
Yeah, no. So that's been really nice to kind of tie the room together, and obviously with the calibration in different settings, per client, I can decide, okay, with a conversation with them, you know, you want it this way, cool. Party mode, or you want it to be a little more accurate, fine, we can do that too.
We've got the 8351s in a couple of rooms. We've got a pair of 1032Cs in the B room, which is I think a classic choice to have. We have their subs.
Yeah, there's a little bit of power in this room.
Yeah, we have the 7382 sub in this room, which we added after the fact.
Yeah, it just further justifies renting out the space above.
Absolutely. Yeah, it does.
Yeah. I've always, had a great love for the Genelec brand and the Genelec products, just from previous studios that I've worked in. And then coming here to Electric Feel, we had the 1035As in the wall previously, and they had been there a really long time, and they were like just a part, like a cornerstone of this room, I would say. Yeah. And you don't see a lot of soffit mounted Genelecs of this size around LA. I think there might be a couple of other rooms maybe that have them, but we were like one of the only ones.
The other thing that was done in here is a new stretch fabric system that went around the room, and not a lot of change on the acoustical treatment there, but this cloud is new because before you didn't have a cloud at all. I'm very excited to have Josh Nyback from Nyback Builds here with us. They did a lot of the construction work as far as the interior treatment in Studio A and Studio B. They did this beautiful custom Nyback cloud, kind of a signature of your guys's.
Yeah, a lot of people love the look and provides enough ambient light, but also direct light, and it's just built into the cloud with the finishes that they choose.
Yeah, it's super clean. I love to see that in a lot of your guys' rooms, and I think it just fits the vibe of this studio. Also, before, they didn't have acoustical treatment on the ceiling, really. They had some older acoustical tile, but it just wasn't as thick as it needed to be, and so having something nice and absorptive to get that first reflection point, help with some axial modes from floor to ceiling.
Exactly.
Just really, really great. And the finish work, I mean, that's something that you guys are known for, is just everything super clean and just professionally done. There's so many different artists that have recorded in here. Like, what are some of the ones that are most prominent?
Post Malone, of course.
Right.
We have had Taylor Swift, Justin Bieber, Adele.
I mean, Selena Gomez has been here.
Selena Gomez, Camila Cabello.
Yep, Camila Cabello.
On the hip hop side, we've had Young Thug, Gunna, Pop
Smoke, King Von. There's more.
And are you engineering some of those sessions?
Some of them, yes.
Yeah.
Some of them, yes.
Been probably pretty interesting.
They're very interesting. I was out of town for the Pop Smoke, and I was actually with Post on tour for the Pop Smoke one, but I was getting phone calls about how fun and exciting it was. And
there's a lot of people
It was
here.
exciting, a lot of things going on, and for things like that. But shout out to Joey Mora. He handled some of those sessions that were just talked about, which are really cool, like some of the rap ones. He's really great with that stuff. He's a great engineer and a good friend too, and our studio coordinator.
That's great. I know it's nice because this room is connected to multiple rooms. There's a vocal booth here in the back. Also, that goes to the B room, and so it's a kind of ultimate flexibility for you guys, because you can have an artist in here and all they're doing is using this one room, but you could also have something going on in there, or someone could take up all of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've even used the vocal booth for that room, because the way I designed it, it's like, as I think all studios probably or should be at least, it's like, there's the main central patch bay where everything can patch, all the guys can patch around, or, like, oh, we want to use this channel on the AVM system for their headphone mix or whatever. We can just kind of work like that, or however, people just tell us what they want to do and we say, okay, let's do it.
We have this shade open into the live room or Studio B, and the curtains open to Studio B. If you're sitting here, like, you're actually getting natural light from both sides, and
it's
you
really
can
nice
see the plants, and it just, I don't know, it just feels a little bit like, it's just calmer.
That's a big thing for a lot of studios we're designing these days. They want to work in natural light, and it can be done and not hurt isolation and all of that, but it's just a different feel. Well, and I think too, with the colors you chose, it's like the LED lights really pop. Like sometimes when you go dark, you can't bring that lighting, make that any different.
Yeah, that was something we really wanted. We wanted to be able to change the mood of the room with light, so the color of the fabric was really important.
You guys want to go check out Studio B?
Sure.
Yeah, let's
do it.
Awesome. I know the way. Studio B is probably way more of an undertaking as far as changing the room.
Yeah, which was unexpected, because going into the project, I don't think we were so focused on Studio B. We were going to do cosmetic changes in there, but then when we started to demo everything, or maybe it might have been right before we did demo, Austin and Post were both like, let's take out the wall. So the Studio B was broken up into two rooms, a little live room and then a control room. And so they opted to take the wall out and make it one big space that could be used as a live room for this control room. So it could be its own standalone room, or, we can put, a full band in there now. So, and when we did the demo, we actually realized that's how it was originally built.
Well, that was the unique thing about with the studio being older and us not knowing necessarily the history of it, and there weren't any drawings, really to work from. So I know we worked back and forth with you guys taking tape measure out and measuring things for us so that we could model it from afar. There were some interesting things I remember when you'd send me dimension. I'm like, this isn't adding up. There's something else going on. But those are cool challenges.
We handled them well.
Thanks.
I get a little pale around math, especially.
You do,
a little bit.
I do that. Math is not scary to me, but
That's
other
good.
things are.
I'm gonna start calling you a lot more then.
Okay.
Yeah, when I start help with homework, I gotta call Gavin.
You've got a calculator in your hand, and you're just like,
it's not making sense.
Gavin.
No, for sure.
I like it better with it being all open.
Yeah,
like
me
this.
too, for sure.
I think everybody does.
Yeah.
Especially with the detail on the wall we have here now, and the setup was actually designed so that it could come out. Post likes having drums around, so the thought is pull them out, put the drums here.
Oh yeah.
Does vocals right here. He used to use the booth a lot, but now he's kind of enjoying having space around him a little bit more. So
that's
it's really nice. Yeah, it's cool.
We even have the desk on casters.
Yep.
Right.
So it can everything can kind of roll in and roll out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, it gives you all sorts of flexibility, and I remember when we were looking at this place, we kind of tried the mix position in different spots, and it gives you that ability to do so.
Because it used to be here.
Yes.
There's a panel behind the curtains too, so you can access the aviom and everything, tie lines and everything as well. And same over behind the couch. There's a panel, more tie lines, aviom, guitar lines, all kinds of stuff. So
yeah. And it's really comfortable. It's almost like a hybrid studio / lounge.
Yeah.
It feels like people could hang out in here while someone's working.
Absolutely. It's such a versatile room. You could live room, working, lounging, writing, production, you name it.
And we got the ceiling clouds from Nyback, built those as well. And then we have these, the slat wall in the front, which is 4 inches thick, because there's that speaker boundary interference issue, where it's the low end comes out of the back of the Gentle X, hits that front wall and comes back to your ears, and you get that big dip at whatever frequency it's going to be based on the distance. And that's why we did that 4 inches of treatment behind there. And the wood slats help to keep the room not so dead sounding, because there's a lot of other absorption in the room with the stretched fabric. I just wanted to, especially if you're sitting here and you're discussing a mix, then it's not just completely speaking into the void. I mean, it just looks beautiful. You guys did an awesome job with it, and
Thank you.
I love seeing your guys' work. It's always just sometimes when you design something and you send it to someone who's never done this before, you fingers crossed, I really hope this comes out okay, but I knew 100% confidence you guys were gonna knock it out of the park.
Like I said in the other room, you just walk in and you're like, okay, you see the potential, so you always wanna rise to at least that, if not, take it to the next level. So
sure. And you guys helped out with the lighting too, kind of recommending the Philips hues and.
Right. Yeah, it was all spawned on the cloud in the other room, where it's we integrate it into the Philips Hue app, which is probably the most user friendly. Smart home accessible. So you don't even need to be there to operate it necessarily. It's great. I'm not even endorsed by or no affiliation with them. We just use it, and it's great.
Do the artists actually get control of that? Or
they'll usually say, hey, do this, but there's an iPad in every room where they can
do that.
Change it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. And they can save their presets and stuff if they want. If so-and-so's coming in, you just put the preset on and they go, oh.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool. Yeah, we try to remember things like that here.
But you guys did a great job. I mean, everything, it looks really clean. In a lot of these spaces, the acoustical treatment can either be a thing that stands out, or it could be something that blends in. And I think that this is a great use of the treatment, to where it's an aesthetic piece with this slat wall and some of the wood around the clouds. But other than that, they wanted the vibe to just be pretty consistent throughout.
I think it came out beautiful as well. I just think aesthetically, it just really ties in with the entire gesture of the room with the wood floors and the fabrics, and it just kind of gives you that very calm kind of zen feel.
Yeah.
And then access to the patio as well.
Yeah, patio really there, and then being able to have the natural light that we talked about. And having it go all the way to Studio A if you wanted it to, by raising the blinds. But that was a feature you didn't have before.
Yeah, no.
Which is awesome. Last time I was here, the lounge looked completely different. And so let's go check it out.
Let's go.
No, this is beautiful. It's got a little hangout area here.
Yep. tables.
Seating.
You could do your Zoom meetings, or you could watch a football game.
Nice.
We're also going to add some, I forget the model number, Danielle, but the ceiling mounted Genelecs as well.
4435As.
Yeah.
And then those speakers over there in the corner, those are
the Sing Cell speakers.
Yep.
they're surprisingly loud and
Yeah.
not bass heavy, but just
small but mighty. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
You can connect over Bluetooth, I think, too, right? Is that how you do it? I've used them
Yep,
probably one
AirPlay.
time. Yeah, they're fun.
Is there a wall dividing this off?
Yes,
Yeah.
I can't
Okay.
believe I forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
Yes, there was a wall here.
Yes, because I remember
Yes.
just walking in here and I only turned right because I've never been in these other rooms either. You sent me some pictures of them.
Big
but-
reveal.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's go check it out.
Big reveal. Let's do it. I'll get the door.
You got the door?
Yeah.
What a gentleman.
I've been going in first the whole time. I feel rude. You guys go first.
All right, so this is Studio
We call it Studio D.
D. Okay. Is there a Studio C?
Yes, that's technically the booth to the A room, which
Yes.
is also used
Oh,
as its
right.
own little production suite.
Yeah, it's a nice room to get some work done in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great production suite. And then Nyback did these panels for us as well.
I think a lot of studios that don't have extra production rooms like this, it just it bogs down their schedule because people are waiting for the A room or the B
sure.
room to open
Yeah.
up, and then also sometimes it's just artists that they don't need that big console or anything else, and they just
yeah.
want to get a little work done. So
Yeah.
I think this is awesome.
A lot of times, too, they'll wait in here till whatever time. What time is A room clearing up? And then, little gap to clean up and set up for them, and then they'll slide in there.
Yeah,
So that'll happen from time to time as well.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then the other one is kind of a mirror image of this one,
Pretty
but it has
much.
a little bit of a curved wall to
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah. It's like copy paste,
yeah. That's
Same
great.
desk in here as we have in B room. This one's a little bit smaller and it's a different wood species than the B room one. But yeah, I actually designed this desk, the B room desk, those two, and a local company here called Parkman Woodworks made these for us. And
Awesome.
they came out really nice and they're very they're unique,
Yeah,
and,
I love how-
and they're easily movable.
Yeah, they're
and-
versatile. You can move them around. Okay, so this is Studio C,
Yes.
which is also doubles as a vocal booth for Studio A. That's right through that window there. But I love that you put a production setup in here too.
Yeah.
I mean, might as well. You've
as well.
got the space and
Yeah.
connectivity. Another place for people to work. Do most of the artists, when they're using Studio A, do they come in here to do vocals, or do they cut vocals in A?
A lot of time, I think they just want to set up in A, keep the, it's cohesive, everyone's in the same room, they can get instant feedback. Not that you can't over, a headphone system or anything like that,
Sure.
but it's just all instantaneous, and then take the headphones off,
Yeah.
unmute, unarm,
Yeah.
turn off, but no, it's got another panel in here, of course, more connectivity, tie lines in and out, Aviom system, guitar lines, everything. So if they want to do whatever,
Yeah.
they can. So
Cool.
if it's a production room, whatever, an amp closet or whatever, if they want to put amps in here, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So
Do you find certain artists prefer to be in the booth versus around other people in the actual room?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Post likes to kind of have his little space,
Yeah.
where he can have his little setup. We got a little tray for him to put his little Bud Lights on and cigarette tray and everything. And,
Sure.
he likes that.
Yeah.
And then he comes in the room. But we have mics in there too for him. Another set of vocal mic, 700 and whatever. But I think people, they've got a preference. It doesn't seem like they're like whatever. Sometimes they are, but usually they're like, I want to be here. So
Right.
most of the times it's in the control room. So yeah.
Well, thanks again so much for having us in here. I know that you guys are so busy with everything that you're doing, and the fact that you even take time out to let us tour the space and see the finished result. I know that the audience is going to love seeing it as well, but thank you guys so much.
Thank you
Of
guys.
course, we're excited to show you and to show everyone, because this has been like a labor of love, and it's been so much has gone into it. So it's exciting to actually be able to share it.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.